It may be some other land, not too far off, where the listeners are not mistaken into passive observers and mere voyeurs, drawn into the tale with its rhythm of awaiting creation. And there will be old people sharing life and proverbs, and there will be young people, restless, attentive, their faces alight. And there will be the poet, storyteller, who will stand in the center of their tradition, community chronicler, seer, diviner, rainmaker, and collective conscience. And in some other tongue, who knows? isiXhosa, Yoruba, Swahili, Setswana, or maybe even English. They will begin. In those days when the eyes were on the knees and the head was on the waist. And together, they will journey. Or together, they will remember. And the African universe will be open to them in its many wondrous ways. Or it may be some other moment in some other space, just like this. And they will gather across and around listening. Tell us a story, they'll say. Tell us a story they'll want to hear, they'll want to know, they'll edge closer. Desiring a show, a moment to forget, to fly on the wings of her imagination, to seek better worlds, to rewrite inherited histories with her words, a chance to see themselves anew, to recapture lost hope. Tell us a story, they'll plead. And she will smile, open her arms, and begin her tale. There's a young woman who stands on the corner of a busy city center street in Cape Town, handing out pamphlets. Eyes lowered, averting any passing gaze. She is riddled with shame, and she feels humiliated and helpless. She will not tell anyone about this experience so far removed from any she has encountered before. It is a low point among many others. This woman is unprepared for this, and she feels silenced by it. Don't think, don't look, just keep going. The only thought in her head is the 200 rands that she will make that day and how she needs to spend it to get through. On yet another day, in another intersection, in a different part of town, this same woman stands. Only this time, she's short of just 1 rand to catch a taxi to the low-paying, double-shift waitressing job. She doesn't look it. So nobody believes that she needs it. How she will get home is another matter altogether. For now, she just needs to get there. Her eye on the clock, she cannot afford to lose this job. It is her lifeline. But she will stand there for a while, walking up and down the street, asking for help. Again, she does not have the language to express what she's experiencing. She cannot find the words. She feels that her life is absolutely out of her control and there is nothing she can do about it. Later that evening, she will write a poem. But she will not be thinking, I need to write a poem, or this is a poem. She will not be thinking about form or relevance or message. Hers is an act of desperation. The urgency to simply create the space to speak the unspeakable. A painstaking and unconscious effort to be visible and heard, if only to herself. She doesn't know it, but this is an act of survival. The girl in the yellow dress speaks. And the words are simple. Time moves. Autumn lets itself go and comes again. Shed of our indifference in the innocence of our belief, we are fashioned into dreams. The road is carved in monotones of longing, and the wind will leave you feeling confused, but take heed. Take heed and know that you are coming. The heart's following only frailty search for a spring that lasts. That young woman is me. I didn't know that I would be a poet. I never knew that I had poetry in me. And I think it's important to declare that. It's a great place to start. So often the assumption is that creativity is the preserve of a few, and that it belongs out there somewhere, away from all the serious matters. So often, we cannot imagine that it has value to society and where that value lies. You will see us flapping our arms in the silence of uncertainty, attempting to fly, but we look up. Look ahead in our lives, radiate our being into the unseen. It is a poem that begins on its knees. Poetry, or at least the very process of my personal struggle, became the poetry. And the poetry now becomes the process. And what do I mean by that? The insights that I have gained through my journey of using art to repiece my life now become something tangible, something I can share, something to pass on to you, who would share of such a solemn solitude, your shoulders laying heavy, buried in bubbles of borrowed discomfort arise. You await the sun, and yet it is the sun who awaits you. Time moves. And how does this time move? I found that poetry has certain principles that can be adapted into systems of living. I lost my ability to speak and my ability to be present and functional in the world as I know it. And through the simple act of recreating how I use language, I've worked towards recreating my very existence, reframing how I experience it. And I continue to do so. Poetry, how will I explain it? Where the woman in me has often fallen short of effectively dealing with some of the challenges, the discovery of the artist in me has rewarded me, or afforded me rather, a safe, reflective, and transformative space with which to process and navigate the world. The subtle shifts that come with the poet's ability to connect seemingly incongruent ideas has helped me to process and to explore and navigate the world. It has given me a lens with which to interpret and respond to the world as I see it and as I know it. I have used poetry to access some of the most interesting people and interesting spaces. I have worked with old people, head teachers. I've worked with young people in prisons, in some of the most remote areas of the country. And nothing brings me greater joy than bearing witness to those processes. People from all walks of life using writing to reclaim their sense of agency. It fills me with such joy and completeness, and it has given me a sense of purpose. I like to say that I have been my own experiment. First, the lesson was me. To be standing here, accounting it is proof enough of its significance for me. As the girl that I was and the girl that I am. There's no other way to put it but to say that I have literally written myself out of where I was. Writing is how I am learning how to live. What we play is life. I was told to grow up, get serious, and stop playing with words. And what have I gained? A life. My own life, a life that I feel is worth living. Telling stories and listening to stories and helping other people tell theirs. From the girl who was voiceless, I have discovered that I have a voice. And I use it specifically and deliberately to say, it's okay. You're not alone. It's possible. I have a voice, and I am using it. The sweet aroma of truth makes its way into the dying moments of my youth. Its fragrance carries me over a silence that was never my own. The girl in the yellow dress speaks. The hereafter bears a portrait of me. And I am beautiful. Thank you.